Health is wealth, and knowledge is power. But this doctor's vernacular has me turning through the Webster for hours, and I don't know. They bombarded me with words like Xanax, cephalosporin, amoxicillin. All these names giving me a strange feeling, and I don't know. The doctor comes in, looking down at my chart. Those long pauses got me feeling like I'm turning to a corpse, and I'm too shy to ask questions. I feel embarrassed for them. But why the doctor and the nurses ain't changed their gloves in front of me? I know their policy is do no harm, but knowledge is power. And I'm feeling powerless. Health is wealth, and I'm feeling impoverished. So I gotta ask for my life. I need some clarification on some topics. So I'm gonna ask questions until I know the ins and outs. Speak up when I know something's wrong. I can't keep secrets in this house and know my medications and know exactly where I'm taking them to. Because you get one life, you don't get two. You see, we're used to being experiments, and that Tuskegee experience is hard to wash away. But I'm here to tell us all, don't be ashamed to ask away. The research shows racial disparities in healthcare no matter your tax bracket, and that there is just tragic. So although doctors and clinicians, they may all mean well, what I'm addressing is something deeper, but not so different. What I'm addressing is implicit. So how many of us out there ever felt like we were being judged because of how we look? How many of us like our doctors? Okay, that's good. Who doesn't? And don't worry, I'm not gonna tell them. Right. But in all seriousness, right? The third leading cause of death in America is preventable medical error. And in 1966, Dr. Martin Luther King said, "Of all injustice, inequality in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane." And if he was here today, he would see, sadly, not much has changed. In New York City alone, African-American women die at rates 12 times as high as white women while pregnant. African-American patients receive less pain medication for their injuries. And overall, doctors should spend less time with them. It was actually a study proving that people going into the medical field believe that black people have higher pain tolerances. And that's a fallacy that has historically to present day always had a negative impact. And when I think of that stuff, I really ask myself, like, what's going on here? But then I started to brainstorm. What could be done to alleviate the impacts of bias on patient health? And with that goal in mind, not to recreate the wheel, but put a spin on some important tools that can be used to help anyone who uses them. Yeah, a lot could be done on the medical professional side, but I thought, why not empower the people affected by it, right? Because you give a person a meal and they eat for a day, but you teach them how to cook and they eat forever. Now that's not exactly how the quote goes, but I'm sure y'all feel it, right? But I thought I would break things down to the simplest level for me to understand, right? Your relationship with your doctor and your healthcare team is exactly that, a relationship. So treat it like one. And shared decision-making is crucial to the success of any relationship. But sadly, the world's been conditioned to accept stereotypes, none of which are right. And when it comes to healthcare, they've affected life. From being stolen bodies to thrown in prisons, we were the experiments inspired by the isms. From Tuskegee to the heinous acts of J. Marion Sims, there's no wonder why historically African Americans see doctors and have a hard time putting their trust in them. But people, we must still rumble. Stand tall even when we stumble. You see, nationwide, African American women die at rates 3 to 4 times as high as white women, just bringing life on earth. Now that's poor, middle class or rich, these disparities cover us all like blanket statements that have so slickly transcended the ages. We have yet to turn these pages, but are so quick to grab a new book. Why not write our own? You see, implicit bias can infiltrate us all. Our lack of perfection makes us all prone. So speak up in that doctor's office. Switch clinicians if you have to. Because when it comes to receiving better healthcare outcomes, you'll be glad to. Shared decision-making is common sense in any relationship. It's not groundbreaking. For years, there's been aching, so why lay idle? Asking for a second opinion doesn't mean you've disregarded your Bible. So partner in your healthcare. Share thoughts with them. Talk with them. Don't let decisions be made that confuse and trouble you. Share decision making. Get comfortable. It's a health issue. Thank you. So, on my few times at Adelphi University on the nice days, I would walk around the campus and I would see the students going through their routines. And it brought me back to when I was in college. But specifically for this, I remember being in a trigonometry class, right? And having absolutely no idea what the professor was talking about. What topic they were on. Don't even get me started on what their answer was and why mine didn't look anything like theirs, but that's besides the point, right? I look at all those opportunities as missed ones because I didn't ask questions. I could have easily asked how and made sure I was able to understand what was being taught to me and nourish my mind in the long run, but I chose to be quiet. It's like this weird feeling like the professor's word was law, right? And you didn't question it, you just copied it, did what they said, and you kept it moving. I could have easily had the confidence to, ask how, make sure I didn't leave until I was able to teach back the process given to me. But I didn't ask questions. And questioning can be life-altering. I was at a cultural competency workshop and we were watching a video on health literacy. And during the video was a bunch of people giving their personal testimonies about their experiences. And one stuck out to me. It was a woman. She was having an issue with her body, so she goes to the doctor and the doctor checks her out and goes, yeah, we could fix that. She goes, great. She doesn't ask how or what's going to be done. She doesn't even question the paperwork, even though it's a bit intimidating. She signs it and she has her procedure. Fast forward to her follow-up, right? And she walks into the doctor's office and the nurse asks her, she goes, so how do you feel since your hysterectomy? And she said internally her jaw dropped because she had no clue that's what happened to her. You see, when it comes to your health, I wouldn't feel so comfortable taking the same risk I did in the classroom because you may not get a makeup. I would look at that doctor's appointment, that visit, whatever, as a similar opportunity to learn, but not for an exam, but for a healthier life. And just being there ain't enough. See, now we got some work to do. Write down what you may forget and what burdens your mind. Look at yourself in this moment like a bottle of wine because you aged just fine and the past is not your prime. Whether you're a tender 24, a sensational 66, an elite 18, or just a question mark candle on a cake of ice cream. Partner in your healthcare by any means. You see, I had a dream that one day racial disparities would be wiped clean and no longer would bias rip us apart and tear us at the seams. How could we ever win? In a system meant to build up so few and oppress the rest. But I want to give you all some treasure from my chest. Imagine being told you got a test, right? And your anxiety is awoken from that stress. That's all before you hit a catch. Because you can ask that professor any question on that test and they'll be obliged to address, because you are deserving of no less. Assemble a team. Bring someone that will go up the bat for you with dreams of grand slams, because medical errors are more expensive than ballpark sodas, chicken fingers, and fries. Open your eyes and realize that you should be in the driver's seat of your life. We've come so far, so don't let bias and toxicity of stereotypes steer your life. Whatever that doctor says, if you're confused, go ahead and recite. Because we driving, but sometimes we need the doctor to get the GPS right. Break away from that health strife. Start living your best life. Take notes. Make sure you get your diagnosis right. So partner in your healthcare. It's been proven to help life. Thank you. So, while I was preparing for this, I wanted to make sure I was providing vitamins and not painkillers. Actually working towards a solution and not delaying the problem. You see, empowering marginalized people often manifests itself in many different ways. Whether it be legislative initiatives, financial stimulation, all the way down to just simply educating yourself on an issue that you may not personally identify with. And that's perfectly fine. Because we got one body, right? No matter the shape, size, where your blemishes reside, we got so many choices to make. So many things to be fearful of. From problematic policies that are influenced by mainstream racist rhetoric. You see, social conditioning has done a number on us all. But don't relinquish your agency. Let your confidence be your form of advocacy. Whether you're in your local supermarket or in your doctor's office. Let your ears be the tools you use to gain clarity. And let your voice be the instrument you use to create a more equitable future, not just for you, but for everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you.